Let me tell you something powerful. Success doesn't start with opportunity. It doesn't start with luck. It doesn't even start with talent. It starts with a decision, that single, quiet, often uncomfortable decision that says, I am done living the same story. That's the first step, and it's the step most people never take. Because it's not glamorous, it's not celebrated, it's not posted. It happens in silence, when no one believes in you yet, when your dream sounds ridiculous even to you. But that's exactly where greatness begins. Let me tell you something powerful. Success doesn't begin with applause, recognition, or the perfect plan. It begins with one single act of courage, deciding. One, the decision to move, to start, to try, even when everything in you screams, you're not ready. That's the first step. And it's the hardest one to take because it demands faith over certainty. Most people wait for the right time, the right moment, the right feeling. But here's the truth. There is no perfect time. There never will be. Life doesn't come with a green light that says, go. The universe doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards movement. Every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary didn't start with a map. They started with a pulse, a fire, a whisper that said, I can do more. We're taught to prepare, to plan, to wait until we're confident. But confidence doesn't come before the decision, it's built through it. Readiness is an illusion we hide behind because fear disguises itself as logic. We say, once I save more money, once I get the degree, once I have time. But those once-I's are silent killers of dreams. They keep you comfortable, and comfort is the graveyard of potential. The people who make history are not the ones who wait for conditions to be perfect. They are the ones who create their own conditions. They step into uncertainty with trembling hands and an unshakable belief that they'll figure it out along the way. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Think about it. Every great invention, every movement, every revolution started with someone who was wildly unprepared. They didn't know if it would work. They didn't know if the world would listen. They didn't know if they'd fail spectacularly. But they acted anyway. They decided. That's the hidden truth of success. It doesn't belong to the most talented, the most educated, or the most experienced. It belongs to the ones who take the first step without knowing the path. Because once you begin, you shift your energy from thinking to creating. You stop waiting for permission and start authoring your destiny. The moment you commit, fully, deeply, unapologetically, you set forces in motion that no fear can stop. That's the magic of decision. It rewires your identity. Before that decision, you're someone wanting change. After it, you become someone becoming it. There's a power that awakens when you stop standing at the edge and finally jump. The air rushing past you is terrifying. But it's also alive, electric, real. That's what growth feels like. You learn to trust yourself mid-fall. You realize you were never waiting for readiness, you were waiting for courage. And courage doesn't arrive with comfort. It shows up when you take the leap and discover that you can build wings on the way down. That's where transformation begins, in motion, not in thought. People often say, but what if I fail? And I'll tell you something. Failure is part of the journey, not the end of it. Failing doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. It means you had the courage to move when others froze. Every setback, every stumble, every rejection, it all sharpens you. It tests your resilience, your hunger, your vision. The most successful people didn't skip the fall. They learned how to rise faster. They understood that failure isn't a wall. It's a mirror showing you what still needs to grow. When you decide to take the first step, you're not promising perfection, you're promising persistence. You're saying, no matter how many times I fall, I will stand again. That's what builds unshakable confidence. The kind that isn't built on success, but on survival. And here's the most beautiful part. When you take that first step, the world around you starts to shift. Doors you couldn't see before start to open. People you needed begin to appear. Opportunities that once felt out of reach suddenly align. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because your energy changed. You're no longer standing still. You're in motion, and motion creates momentum. The universe responds to boldness. It rewards movement. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you declare to life, "Yes, I am ready for more." And life listens. That's the invisible rhythm of success. It begins the moment you dare to move without certainty. So if you're standing at the edge right now, thinking of everything that could go wrong, let me tell you this: the real risk isn't in stepping forward. It's in staying where you are. Every moment you delay your decision, you delay your destiny. Don't let fear dress itself as logic. Don't let someday steal your today. Decide now, move now, begin now. You don't need to know every answer, you just need to take the first step in faith. Because once you do, you'll discover something powerful. The path was never waiting for permission. It was waiting for you, because the first step towards success isn't about being ready, it's about being willing to risk, to believe, to act when no one else will. That's where every great story begins, with one bold decision that changes everything, and that decision starts today. We all have a story. Some chapters we proudly share, others we bury deep, pretending they never happened. But here's the truth: your story, the entire messy, beautiful, imperfect thing, is the foundation of your power. Every scar, every heartbreak, every wrong turn, they're not stains on your journey. They're proof that you survived. You cannot own your future if you're still hiding from your past. The world doesn't need another polished version of perfection. It needs you, raw and real. When you finally stop running from your story and start owning it, you transform it from a source of shame into a source of strength. That's where authenticity begins. That's where your true voice lives. Too often we believe that success means erasing where we came from. We think we need to cover up the pain, the struggle, the mistakes, to fit into some shiny definition of success that the world celebrates. But that illusion robs you of your greatest weapon, your truth. Every successful person you admire has a story filled with rejection, failure, loss, and doubt. But they didn't hide those chapters. They used them. They built empires out of the very bricks that were once thrown at them. They understood that what breaks you can also build you, if you let it. When you embrace your full story, you no longer need tea or pretend. You stop performing for approval and start leading from truth. That's when your presence becomes magnetic. Because people can feel when you are real. The moment you own your story, something inside you shifts. You stop chasing validation because you realize you've already earned your worth. You've lived through things that could have broken you, and yet you're still here, still fighting, still growing. That's power, the kind that can't be taught, bought, or imitated. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Try me." Because when you face your truth head on, it can no longer control you. You begin to see that your story wasn't happening to you, it was happening and for you. Every setback had a purpose. Every heartbreak had a lesson. Every failure had a seed of growth. You can't see it while you're in the middle of the storm, but once you make it through, you realize the storm was shaping you all along. Owning your story also means breaking free from comparison. You stop measuring your journey against someone else's highlight reel. You stop scrolling through curated versions of success and start living your own truth. You begin to understand that your path is yours for a reason. Maybe your timeline looks different. Maybe your pace feels slower, but slow doesn't mean small. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment, it's part of your unique blueprint. There's power in patience and grace in persistence. When you stop resenting your journey and start embracing it, you unlock peace. Because you realize you're not behind. You're right where you're supposed to be. The destination will come, but the wisdom comes from the walk. Here's what happens when you truly own your story. You become dangerous in the best way. Because no one can use your truth against you anymore. They can talk, they can doubt, they can underestimate you, but they can't define you. You've already done that. You've turned your pain into purpose, your fear into fire, your past into power. You stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for who you've been, because that version of you is the reason you're strong enough to be here now. The world tries to tell you that vulnerability is weakness, but it's the opposite. It's courage. It's standing tall and saying, "This is me, unfiltered, unfinished, unstoppable." And when you show up like that, you give others permission to do the same. That's how movements begin. Not through perfection, but through truths. So yes, own your story, all of it. The chapters that hurt, the ones that healed, and even the ones that still sting. Your story is not something to be ashamed of, it's something to be proud of. Every wound has wisdom. Every failure has fuel. Every heartbreak has hidden strength. When you look at your reflection, don't wish away the parts that were hard, honor them. Because those parts made you resilient. They taught you empathy, courage, and grit. They gave you a voice that can cut through ice and inspire others who are walking their own battles. Your story is your legacy. It's what the world will remember long after titles fade and applause dies. So stop hiding, stop editing, stop shrinking your truth to fit someone else's version of perfection. Own your story with pride, with fire, with fearlessness. Because the day you do, you stop being defined by what happened to you, and you start being defined by what you decided to do with it. That's not just growth, that's transformation. And that transformation, it begins with you. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your invitation. It's the universe's way of asking, how badly do you want this? Every dream, every breakthrough, every transformation lives on the other side of discomfort. Yet most people spend their lives running from it. They hide behind excuses, distractions, comfort zones, anything that keeps them safe from that sting of uncertainty. But safety has a cost. It steals your potential. You cannot grow in a SPAC. That feels easy. The gym that doesn't make you sweat won't make you stronger. The challenge that doesn't scare you won't change you. The moment you start seeing discomfort as a signal that you're leveling up, not breaking down, that's when everything shifts. Growth has never been comfortable, but it's always been worth it. When you chase big dreams, you will feel fear. That's normal. Fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signal that you're stepping into something new. The problem is, we've been taught to treat fear as danger. But fear is not the enemy of success. Comfort is. Comfort whispers, stay where you are, you've done enough, don't risk it. It sounds kind, protective, rational. But that voice doesn't want your greatness, it wants your safety. And safety is seductive. It feels good until one day you wake up realizing you've been standing still. You traded progress for predictability. You gave up the climb for the illusion of calm. The truth is, everything you want, confidence, success, fulfillment, exists outside that cozy bubble of what you already know. You can't tiptoe toward greatness. You have to walk through the fire and trust that it's shaping you, not burning you. There will be moments when the discomfort feels unbearable, when it feels like you're pushing through fog, failing over and over, wondering if any of it will pay off. That's the moment most people quit. That's the moment the voice in your head says, maybe this isn't for me. But those are the moments that build you. The discomfort you feel is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the universe toughening your spirit, sharpening your mind, stretching your capacity. The pain of growth isn't there to break you, it's there to prepare you for the weight of what you've asked for. You can't hold success with the same strength you had at the start. You have to grow new muscles, emotional, mental, spiritual, and the only way to do that is through discomfort. Every time you endure the uncertainty, every time why, keep going. When it would be easier to stop, you are earning the right to rise. You have to fall in love with the process, the hard, unglamorous, uncomfortable process. The late nights, the rejection emails, the doubt that creeps in, the awkward beginnings, the invisible progress, because that's where character is built. Success isn't forged in applause, it's forged in silence, in sweat, in the moments no one sees. The most powerful people in the world didn't wake up confident. They became confident through repeated exposure to discomfort. They learned that the pain of growth is temporary, but the regret of quitting lasts forever. Every small act of endurance rewires your mind to trust yourself more. You begin to realize, I can handle this, I can survive this, I can rise again. And once you discover that resilience, there's nothing anyone can take from you. Discomfort is also the birthplace of creativity and innovation. Think about it. Nothing extraordinary was ever created by sumo. Me who felt comfortable. The light bulb, the airplane, the internet, all came from people who challenged the limits of what was possible. They questioned what everyone else accepted. They pushed against the edges of their comfort until something new was born. When you lean into discomfort, you unlock a part of your mind that comfort keeps asleep. You start seeing possibilities where others see problems. You stop fearing failure and start experimenting. You realize that every mistake is just data, every setback is feedback. Growth becomes a game of curiosity, not survival. That's the difference between people who evolve and people who stay stuck. One sees discomfort as danger, the other sees it as discovery. Here's the truth. You will never completely get rid of discomfort. And you shouldn't want to, because once life stops challenging you, it stops changing you. The key isn't to avoid discomfort. It's to build a relationship with it. To say, I see you, I know you're uncomfortable, but I am doing this anyway. Every time you make that choice, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that fear doesn't make the rules. You do. The goal isn't a comfortable life, it's a meaningful one. A life that demands your full potential, that tests you, that stretches you, that wakes you up every single day with purpose. Comfort may give you peace, but discomfort gives you growth. And growth is where your destiny lives. And so the next time you feel that tension in your chest, that nervousness, that fear, don't run. Lean in. Because that feeling is not a warning, it's a sign. It means you're exactly where you're supposed to be. It means you're alive, evolving, expanding. Embrace the discomfort. Let it shape you, stretch you, refine you. Because the ones who dare to walk through the fire are the ones who eventually become it. And that, right there, is how greatness is born. Motivation feels amazing, doesn't it? That rush of energy that hits you after watching an inspiring video, hearing a powerful story, or setting a new goal. In that moment, everything feels possible. You're ready to conquer the world. But then, life happens. The alarm rings early, your plans fall apart, people disappoint you, and that spark begins to fade. Motivation is powerful, yes, but it's temporary. It's a spark, not a source of power. If you rely only on motivation, you'll burn out before you ever arrive. That's why discipline matters more. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't depend on excitement. It's that quiet, relentless voice that says, jet up, do it anyway. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. It's the difference between talking about your dreams and actually living them. Motivation makes you feel good. Discipline makes you great. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not always the most talented, but they are the most consistent. They show up on the days they don't want to. They train when no one's watching. They keep writing, studying, working, and grinding long after the thrill has faded. They understand something most people don't. Success is not built in moments of inspiration. It's built in moments of repetition. Motivation will get you started, but discipline will keep you moving. Every great athlete, artist, leader, and innovator learned how to show up even when it wasn't exciting, especially then. Because discipline doesn't just build results, it builds identity. You start to see yourself as someone who can be trusted to follow through. And that belief, that's unstoppable. Discipline is a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows through resistance. It doesn't come naturally to anyone. You build it every time you push through laziness, every time